For this demonstration, we are going to look at some of the options for inspecting the model, looking for clashes, failed connections, and so on. Since we have already went through and cleaned up a lot of our connections, we probably will not have any failed connections, but here are some options for looking for failed connections. The first option that we'll look at is if we go up under Model and Status Display. Here you can set pretty much an unlimited number of searches to visually see your results on the screen. So the first one we're going to do is try to look for failed connections. So the way this is set up here is if you have some created already, you can go to Load, and you can see I have one for failed connections. So I'm going to click on that one and hit Open. What this is telling SDS2 is to show any failed connections in Show Item as Green when any of these conditions are true. So if it's a failed connection, it'll show it as green. Then on the bottom here you can see there's a box here, Display Other Materials as Gray. So all the other ones will show up gray, your failed will show up green, and they will stand out. So I'm going to hit Apply here. And now you can see my model has all turned gray. So that's good. That means I have no failed connections. So in this case here, I already had that saved. But if I did not, I could hit Save As here and save that status display. So let's make one here. And let's go to Modify Condition. And let's do a member status, member type. And for the condition, it says member type, Joyce, and so on. Let's uncheck all the boxes except for horizontal brace. So now what it's saying is show item as green when any of the conditions are true. Member type is horizontal brace. Display all other members as gray. And let's do save as. Just call it HB brace. And hit save. And hit apply. Hit OK. And now in my model you can see my horizontal braces are green and everything else is gray. On the bottom of your screen here, you'll see status display boxes checked on, and my status display of my horizontal brace is on. So if I click this box off, then it just goes back to your regular model colors. If I turn it back on, right now it's on status display of horizontal brace. If I click my file cabinet, and if I had multiple status displays here, you can change it. So let's go back to failed connections, hit open. Now again, we have no failed connections, so everything is shown as gray. So that's one way of looking for failed connections. Another way for looking for failed connections is to use some of the search options. So under Edit, there's Search for failed connections. There's other searches here for changing bolt diameters changed by the system, shear loads below the minimum setup, and so on. So if we do search for failed connections, again, we should not find any because we already corrected all the failed connections, but no failed members found, so we are good. The other way to search for failed connections is to just visually go in the model and scroll around, look at the model in different views in the 3D view. Going back and looking in the plan view, if I go back to my plan view 112 and previously showed this, if we change it to on the left hand side here, change to solid transparent main, you can visually see the connection there. So visually you can kind of inspect your model, but probably the best way is to go back to your isometric view and use your status display to find your failed connections and any other type of status displays you want to set up. Then the next item is to run a clash report. So to run a clash report, you need to have everything on solids. It doesn't matter which solid mode you're in. Then you go up to reports, clash report, and this clash report is saying tolerance, how much you want to allow SDS2 to allow materials to collide. Generally you leave it at a 1/16 of an inch. I don't know of any reason why you'd want to go more than that, and any reason why you'd want to go less than that, because you need a little bit of tolerance there. So hit OK. And on the top of my screen, in my status line here, it says total clashes 0. Since we went through our model already and cleaned up all of our connections, and everything was input correctly, we have 0 clashes. So I'm gonna hit, I was trying to pan here, I'm gonna hit cancel to get all that command. On the top here it still is in that command, so I'm gonna right click for return to get all that command. And what I want to do to demonstrate that clash report is zoom in here. Here's them 2 vertical braces we put in, that one was near side, towed near side, one is towed far side. They both run straight through, so I'm going to change this one here from near side to far side. Hit OK. Process. Click anywhere on the screen to get to update the model, and now you can see it is clashing. So visually, if I turn it to solid, you can see that them 2 clash. They run right through each other. Now let's go back to our report, clash report, and run it again. Now on the top of the screen here, status line, it says total clash is 1. You can see on my screen I've got a circle. If I click anywhere on my screen, it'll get me out of that report. Now the clashes still show up on the screen. Now I can zoom in, and you can see I can zoom right in. It shows me exactly where that clash is. Now I'm still in the clash report itself, and you can see on my button bind it says locate, pan, return. If I go to that circle there and left button locate, now it's asking me to review. I'm going to say yes. If I hit material here, it'll show me the 2 materials in that clash that are hitting. Data, it'll show me the data, and it'll list the 2 braces and the material marks that are colliding. If this was one that you knew you did not care about, you could ignore that clash as you're going through all the clashes to clean up your clashes. Return out of here, and I'm going to return to exit out of the command, return again to exit out. Now I'm going to go back to that brace and change that back to near side and process so our model is back to being correct. So them are some options for reviewing your model. Again, you can use it visually by zooming in and out. You can look in your plan views and turn your model to solid transparent main so you can see the different materials. You can run your reports. You can run your clash report, your searches over here, and so on to visually inspect your model.